And welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, Season 8, our last stop of the season before the World Championships kick off in Katowice. Joined once again by Apollo, almost at the end of Group A. It's been a brilliant afternoon already, and we've got Group B to come, which is great. One more game to go now. ForGG has kind of come back a little bit. I mean, he looked devastated, actually, if I'm honest, when he lost against HerO. It was almost like he was like, hang on a minute. Like, was that it? Did the game just end? It was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. Much better against Hyun, though. Much more solid, much more like the ForGG we've come to know and love in WCS Europe. Disappointing for Hyun, though. Let's start with him.
Yeah, Hyun. I mean, he's had a rough couple of months with his team and all the drama situation around that. Coming into 2014, he didn't even really know if he was going to continue playing StarCraft because of all this. So he came into this tournament with his head held high, with his new sponsor, Rocket. A little bit unfortunate, but in a group and a tournament this stacked, even though Hyun is a great player with great results last year, someone's got to lose, and unfortunately it had to be him. So he's just got to keep going, and hopefully can pick up some other results in different tournaments.
We may even see him in the open bracket for Katowice as well, so still a chance for him. ForGG against HerO. Been here before already, quite a number of times now. I think we're starting to see a little bit of a rivalry creep up. There was a WCS game, and then there was they played in Todd's Invitational, of course, and did they play at Asus ROG as well, or am I dreaming?
I'm not sure.
No. And then again, obviously, they already played today. So something of a little rivalry creeping up. And they seem to like... I remember ForGG won 2-0 the first time, and then HerO won 2-0 the next time, and now HerO's won this 2-0. So it's ForGG's turn, right? If it goes according to the plan.
I believe.
Here comes the MLK speech from Apollo.
I am a massive Liquid HerO fan. He's a great player. But I believe in ForGG, the 4G Geddon. I'm a believer, and I think that he is a Terran hope.
All right, okay, I'm not going to argue with it because there's not very many Terrans around to cheer for me. As you can see from the bracket there, this is the final game of Group A, and we'll decide our second player through. Rain earlier was absolutely devastating.
This guy's heading top 3. He's heading top 3 at this tournament, and if anyone meets him in the quarterfinals, which they will, someone will, best of luck. Because it's not going to be easy. This guy is just incredible right now. Yeah,
okay. It's time for ForGG versus HerO. Part 2. Is it going to be the same outcome as the first time round, or can ForGG keep Terran hopes alive because there aren't many around? The endangered species goes up against HerO for a chance in the quarterfinals. It's our next game, which means going over to our commentary team. Please enjoy the game.
Thanks very much, guys. I am right there with Sean, I believe, as well. ForGG, I think he's going to look better in this series. I really do.
Well, it's hard to look worse if you think this. He's 0-4 in the last 4 maps he's played against HerO, and all of those games have been quite one-sided, so...
What? No, I agree. you hit the nail on the head, Todd. It's hard to look worse. Yeah, you're right. That didn't look too good for him there, but I am also a believer, so you really took me off guard with that, I must admit. You really caught me. But anyway, now HerO and ForGG going into our map vetoes. We'll see what they want to do. I think we may end up with a very, very similar map pool to what we saw in their previous series. Just a little bit of iteration from ForGG's side, being more diligent about scouting and really keeping an eye on ever-aggressive HerO.
Yeah, I have to say I was a little bit caught off guard with the way that series went previously. I was picturing something totally different. So HerO, as much as he's one of those guys that really manages to make very, very good players look bad sometimes, this was surprising to me. And ForGG going to this series, he has to completely forget about those games up to a certain limit. He has to forget about the bad way it went and just try to learn most from it. If he plays Hyunsu again, that would mean Scout in the corner of his base. And, well, I don't think HerO will try that twice. But we've seen been surprised before.
Yeah, we have. Polar Knight does disappear, so right now we're gearing up for...
Exactly the same vetoes as last time, and
not surprised at all. And we'll see the map order now. Remember, Hyunsu was second. What did we have first? It was Frost, wasn't it? So Frost is first. Hyunsu will probably be second. Yeah. And that'll leave us with.
He can hear us. He's like, "Screw you guys! I'm going for the other route."
Well, Mr. Graham now, just making sure. Mind games. No, so okay.
Yeah, this was vetoed, I think. Actually, Habitation in the last time that they played.
Was it?
I think it was vetoed by ForGG, maybe?
Oh, actually, no, I think you could be right with
yeah.
that. So we are telling lies, basically. But going into this best of 3 now, we do have our final 3 maps, and it's all going to come down to this. HerO currently sits, well, he did sit in a very fortunate position, actually defeating 4GG in that first series with swift aggression. But 4GG is going to be playing this out differently. There's absolutely no way he doesn't change up minor things to his gameplay that will work out.
Yeah, the games didn't go his way, and he was maybe unfortunate with some of the things, but HerO, man, this guy is so good right now versus Terran. He's a little bit of a nemesis versus 4GG. He's the only guy that I've seen make 4GG look this bad. So going into this series, 4GG, it's going to be so hard for him to be able to overcome that. You know, sometimes mentally you're going to be a little bit broken when this happens too many times. If you lose a few times to the same player, it's not even close. You have to think, what is going wrong? Like, you need to find exactly why you're losing and fix it. And this is what 4GG is going to have to do here. He's going to have to make sure he can identify better what he's up against, make sure he counters it well. Because so far, it's been HerO who's really been applying the pressure all the time, reacting well to everything that 4GG has been doing, and it's not going to be any different in this series if 4GG is not careful. So, going to have to be very, very careful here.
Yes, he is. Frost will be the first map.
Every time these guys play, they play on Frost.
Yeah, it just kind of happens. And I think that's actually true for a lot of series that we're seeing right now. People find a lot of comfort in Frost. It's one of the first 4-player maps after its introduction that rapidly became a good staple. We saw like Whirlwind, Tal'Darim Malta for a long, long time, but I think that it took longer for those kinds of 4-player maps to gain more traction in the pro scene.
I really hope this series goes as I had kind of predicted in the first time that they played in this tournament, which was a 3rd base from 4GG, or at least a 2-base opener, taking to Medivacs, going for a 3rd command center, and then applying a lot of pressure while macroing, which is really what he's the best at.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised he tried to go for a mech. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the case again. And if he plays standard here, he has a serious shot. We've seen it was Port when he played versus CJ HerO in Sao Paulo. He was able to win with something similar to this, just playing a macro game, attacking everywhere, being everywhere. And 4GG, I guess to some extent, has a similar style to Port. And actually, Port, not particularly known for his extreme multitask, was able to take probably one of the most impressive wins of Sao Paulo. He beat the champion, the 2-times champion of the ETL Extreme Masters. So now being up against HerO, a player who's also another HerO, who's very, very good versus 10. 4GG, if he does something similar, he could pull it off. I think this has to be his best shot.
Yeah, he has to bring out such good games here and just cover all of his bases. And that's going to be what we're having to look out for 4GG as he now loads up into game number 1. This series will determine who moves on to the round of 8 alongside Rain. But it's also important to note that if you move on as the 2nd place finisher, you are guaranteed to not meet the 1st place until the grand final. So you would always be in opposite sides of the brackets. So now let's jump into game number 1 as we find out who's going to move on. It's a shame to lose either of these players, 4GG or HerO, but one of them will be eliminated, and one will seek glory. As we have spawning up, spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, in fact, as our Red Terran representing Millennium, it's 4GG. And up to the top left, as our Blue Protoss representing Team Liquid, it's HerO.
I love the epic music when he adjusted his glasses.
I really tried to contain laughter, and I failed. Anyway, so...
Frost, again, same positions as before. 4GG tried to go for something special. HerO read right into it. I really do think that on this map, if he goes for, let's say, like a command center first, plays a standard game with bio, not mech, he's going to have a much better shot. It does look like he's going to be a barracks.
Well, technically speaking, what we see from 4GG is already a little bit of a deviation because of his supply depot placement as well as his barracks. Previously in this game, he actually walled it off. So he is going straight to that Reaper placement here. There's already a big change that we're seeing from 4GG.
Yeah, Reaper Expand is going to be okay. The best build to do as a Terran, according to Mr. Bitter.
Ah. Well, it might not work out too great against HerO because HerO's already building a wall on that left-hand side of his base.
He always does that.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. A lot of Protosses, they actually started doing this, and they do it on every single map. And I guess they've practiced it a lot, because when I did it, sometimes I got some units stuck, or like my base was super awkward. And this is, I thought that this does not really help versus Reapers, just because they are ranged, and it's not like Hellions, you know, you don't really need to block them, but it does, because if you wall off the left-hand side of your main like this, you only need to have a Stalker on the top right-hand side. If you hide your tech, the Reaper needs to die to scout it. And that's a win in itself. Even if your opponent scouts you, as long as you kill the Reaper, then he's not going to be able to scout the follow-up without scanning. And that's a win.
Yeah, you're entirely right. It's not just about the block to deny probe kills. There's much more at hand.
The loss is when the Reaper gets in there, scouts, and then gets out, which is what happens in my games, because I don't wall like this.
Sorry, man. Better look next time, I guess. But anyway, that Reaper's not moving on out. He's actually, oh no, he's sticking around in the base for now.
And he's kept on mining quite a lot of gas. He goes for a reactor. I wouldn't be surprised if again, ForGG goes for a very quick factory in this game.
Oh, yeah,
it really seems to be the trend these days. A lot of Terrans have been playing like this. We saw Teja also use a similar style when he played versus HerO previously.
I mean, I want to say that ForGG's favorite unit in the entire game is the Hellion, because he loves to mix in Hellions across every single matchup as much as possible. If he can find an opening with Hellions, he will grab it, and he will take that on and apply it to the matchup. We're going to have probably some Hellions on the way. He could technically go Widow Mines, but I think
Stargate is a very good option here for HerO, but he's shown before that he lacks a lot better to go for something like a Twilight, get Blink, and then either get Blink defensively with 3 gates and a Robo. Actually, I'm not going to develop any further because this is actually a Stargate.
Yeah, and it's in an interesting location as well. So if we do see ForGG go for Widow Mines, that's the best possible outcome that we could probably see from his side of things. As long as he's playing defensively with them, he's got to be careful.
Remember that game that I mentioned earlier?
He does it.
Between HerO and Teja, which took place on this map. HerO did a ton of damage early on with an Oracle.
Yeah. Now, the one thing here that could occur is that ForGG right now, he's scouting around with the Reaper. He's looking to see what his opponent's doing. But as you can see, there's the Starport on the way. So we might see Medevac with the 2 initial Widow Mines, as well as Marines, picked up and are being aggressive.
Yeah, a Forge will be made, I'm sure. Usually, these days, every Protoss that open with a Stargate gets a Forge right after. Now, if HerO chooses to cut a corner here, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm surprised he hasn't started the Forge yet. Surely he has the money. He's getting an additional Stalker.
But you end up in these weird scenarios where he goes in and doesn't really see much at all.
And actually, this is interesting because now ForGG got to the back of the main and he saw that there was nothing. He has to kind of guess. There is either a Twilight Council or a Stargate out on the map.
Where does he burrow his Widow Mines if he's
in his
not
mineral line, like in a spot where he cannot be seen? But he needs to read into this. Like we're gonna find out in a second if he's able to anticipate what he's up against. If he's not, he's gonna fly across the map, and as much as he might be able to do some damage, there's gonna be an Oracle ready to kill a lot of SCVs here.
Yeah, he loads up there. I thought that this was going to happen. It always ends up happening in these weird scenarios where it's kind of like a trade for trade, blow for blow.
And still no Forge by HerO. I'm so surprised. Yes, absolutely no detection. If he has to fly back with his Oracle to detect, this is a bit of a disaster of a scenario for him. But he has 2 Oracles now. This is going to be weird. Like, this is not a situation you ever see, I feel, in this matchup.
Yeah, no detection here. This one Widow Mine is going to sit around. He's actually only going to get 1 probe there. Drops in the main as well. Does he get any probes? Oh, and actually, yeah, he gets 1.
You're even baiting the friendly fire here.
Yeah, I was going to say he could have left that probe next to the Marine and then done some damage to those Marines in turn. But now HerO is looking to fly around and do some worker kills himself.
Yeah, he has so much energy on both of these Oracle. He's going to force some turrets here in a second. ForGG actually swapping his barracks right now. He's going to be wanting to start Steam Pack and Combat Shield ASAP.
I think one thing's for sure, that was a little less hectic than I was anticipating.
Yeah.
So
I think we both thought there was going to be a lot of kills, but then it's like 2 probe dies and the situation kind of stabilized.
Yeah, so we are back to square one here. 44 workers to 38, but you know, with that chrono boost into the next eye, that's pretty much expected here from HerO.
And with those turrets, ForGG is going to be in a comfortable position. You see his choice of going for Marine Heavy. Even though he's got 2 tech labs on his barracks, he knows that since he has very quick medivacs, if he's able to complete Steam Pack and Combat Shield quickly, he could go for some sort of timing, which will mostly be good against a very Zealot, maybe Charge Lot heavy style. But in this case, HerO's playing this differently than we've seen Protoss play after opening with an Oracle. He's going to Colossus play. So it's going to be interesting to see how this matches up against ForGG's style in this game. And by the way, ForGG, he has a slight supply lead, and he's going for that third Command Center, as I thought he should when going up. Oh, he's going to get one of these Oracle.
I'm kind of surprised that he lost that. You know,
I have to say, I quite like ForGG's position. As I said, it was going to be very hard to look worse than he did before, and he's already like looking a ton better.
Yeah, oh yeah, he definitely does. The one thing, going into the Heart of Swarm, one of the things I was scared of most was giving oracles to a player like HerO. He almost lost it as I'm saying this, but normally HerO's control, and like we saw his Phoenix control in the past, he's going to hunt this down and kill it, actually. Sick.
Wow.
So sick. That's innovation-esque there. We saw him using that before.
Look at the army supply.
Wow.
19 to 42. And Photon Overcharge is up. He actually almost has a second one. Gonna have it in a while, but if ForGG forces the Photon Overcharge in the natural and then drops in the main, there's not gonna be another one. Actually, he's gonna choose to drop a little bit all over the place here, maybe, possibly. The first Colossus is gonna come out now, and there is exclusively Marines, but the army of HerO is actually really small right now.
I think he has to be really careful with that. Colossus.
Oh, nice force field.
Yeah, those were pretty good to actually catch all those off. But he does have to be careful because that Colossus does not have thermal lance. So it only has 6 range. If it gets close to the gap, then he might be able to do some damage, but he does force away anyway.
That other medivac had 2 hit points, so he brought the other one to pick those up.
Nice.
And charge is being made behind this, so I think HerO is going to cut Colossus production after just one.
Top right, top right.
Oh wow, he actually tried this versus Teja on this map when they played earlier after being quite far ahead, and he ended up losing the game, and I think because of that hidden expansion. Because when you take it, it's actually very hard to transfer probes there. It takes forever, and if this is seen, then you automatically lose the game.
I think it's really hard, though, for the spawning positions in general for ForGG to ever spot that, because why would he be realistically going over there with his drops? He wants to go as quickly as possible to his opponent so he can actually put on some pressure, and indeed he is doing up in the main, trying to kill off a few Stalkers, will get them, can also micro against these Zealots, but decides to pick up for now as he wants to retain that, and nice snipe out there by HerO getting one of those medevacs. He's going to lose quite a few of these Marines not paying attention.
The thing is, when you take a third base this early, you want to be able to saturate it to make it worth it. And in this case, HerO's not going to be able to transfer probes. So he doesn't have mules. He has to make probes there very slowly to try and saturate that base. And ForGG, in the meantime, he's macro, man. He's just going to explode. He's going to make a ton of units. He's getting Hellbats. I told you this would happen.
Yeah.
He's massing on that tier 2 army, which is oh so strong versus Protoss, in particular when there is no Templars yet. In this case, HerO cut Colossus production after just one. He's going into Charge Lot Templar style. But these Hellbats, they're really going to help tank against those Zealots. And remember, this is Frost. This is a map where it's really, really hard to fight against a talent like ForGG, who's going to spread his army out and always be looking to take good fights. I think ForGG might even realize very soon that he's basically not up against Colossus, in which case he just stops Viking production, gets the Ghost Academy, or basically just keeps on attacking. I think ForGG is going to be very aggressive soon and looking to possibly increase his lead or end it.
The thing is, though, is that I don't think ForGG is going to get an opportunity to take an engagement in a wide open area. And then, because right now, HerO is on 2 bases in inverted commas, or at least that's what ForGG thinks. So he keeps an eye on the third, and then he's like, wait a minute, why are you taking a third base here? This is really strange. So maybe that'll twig him off to the fact that there is a hidden base.
Yeah, very good point. I completely agree with you. I think in a moment, say about the 15th minute, if ForGG sees that there is no third base, he's probably going to be like, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
With this picture, and he's going to send some Marine around the map, I would expect, but he might be able to end it before that. Look at the supply. His macro is absolutely beautiful, man.
Storm's finished, though. Some of these High Templars have some energy to actually throw down those storms. I don't think he saw them just at the very edge there of that vision. Picks up a few of these units, gonna set those out into the main. This has been spotted, though. There is a Colossus waiting for them. He sees a High Templar as well. He now has a good indication as to exactly what's going on.
He needs to do damage now. The more those Templars get more energy, the harder it's gonna be for ForGG to win this. And actually, we have a lot of Templars out on the map already. 2-2 is on the way for ForGG. Oh, big storm.
Nice. Nicely done. He did lose the Militia Core during all of this, so he won't have any energy for Time Warp, but he also used that Photon Overcharge in the main anyway. So he does have to be a little bit careful about how he's going to do this. But again, ForGG right now, unless he has some star sense, he feels as if he's delayed the third base for so long, so he considers this a victory right now.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I'm surprised he didn't try to get in there a little bit more. I know this army was scary, but actually the the Photon Overcharge went down in the main and the Magic Power died, so they would not have been one in the expansion, but he was scared of those Templars. The thing is, the more he waits, the harder he's gonna get, and he's not taking 2 Ghosts anytime soon. He hasn't made the Ghost Academy. He's getting a second Starport just to make sure there is no Colossus transition that can kill him. But this base across the map by HerO is quite well saturated now. This is getting really, really scary here for ForGG, who's gonna fight against how many Templars? This is a ton of Templars. 8 right now, with no Ghost at all.
This is really misleading for ForGG, it really is, because it doesn't look like he wants to head over to the other side of the map to try and see if what's going on. But
this is a huge mistake.
Yeah, HerO shouldn't be tempting out a fight here, because that's a really strong army that ForGG has right now. And he's going to chase on. Nice Storm, though, does catch a lot of that. He also drops a second one. He has to be careful. And third. Okay, so all the Vikings are going to die, but he really doesn't have that many Colossi anyway. He has one.
Actually, the army supply 114 against 70 here. This is what I was talking about. ForGG is moving out. Another Immortal is going to be caught out of position here. And ForGG here, if he takes the fight, if he spreads his army out well, if he doesn't get hit too hard by those storms, he's going to want to deal really well with this army.
5 medevacs are going to have a hard time healing all of this up if it continues on like this, as the storms continue to land and killing off this bio. HerO is performing brilliantly in these engagements, considering the army supplies. He just back and forth, constantly kiting it.
Yeah, HerO has only very few storms left. I think around 3 in total. So it's actually ForGG being hit as much as he is, and also not having too much energy on his medevacs and only having 4 of them. He's going to pull back now, which is he starts a Ghost Academy now. This is very, very late. Now HerO's going to be on 4 bases. He's already on 4 bases. He's going to do a big Colossus transition. He's getting Thermal Lance, level 3 ground armor is finishing. He's getting Blink to cover this Colossi from the Vikings.
And not only is the Ghost Academy very late, it's just not ForGG-esque at all. Oh dear me, he might actually lose quite a bit of this. And he can't drop there, otherwise the Colossus are going to start shredding things up. But he absolutely has to. He needs to bring these reinforcements as well. Storm will land on quite a bit of that bio. HerO, a very, very nice trade, but he has to get out of here, because that's a big force chasing him down. He's going to continue to drop more storms.
He does not necessarily have to get out of here. He has Thermal Lance about to finish. I think he's just going to mass on this pylon that he has in this position and keep on pressuring with his storms, because he realizes there is no Ghost.
ForGG picking up once again. I don't think this is going to be the best position for him. He needs all the army he can get there now. This is a great assault by HerO. And the absolute linchpin of this entire game has been that base up to the top right, and ForGG really not realizing this. It's been a little bit of an uphill struggle for him ever since. Storms once again, SCV's coming to fight. ForGG is in a lot of trouble as HerO looks to power on through. These units up to the top, they're not really doing a whole lot, despite the split up here. And he's going to continue on as HerO just pressing his advantage. Really not being able to do a whole lot. Another assault up to the pseudo third base, but as he loses the rest of this army and isn't able to deal with those Colossi, he lost so many Vikings to the storms earlier on that were just chasing down an army that they didn't really need to chase. He's losing a few High Templars up to the north. ForGG is down in terms of supply quite drastically though now, and the blink on forwards to trade away some medevacs if he can get them would be brilliant for HerO, but realistically right now he's in just too good a position.
And that counter-attack didn't do all that much here. HerO was able to defend back at home now, more than double the supply. And yeah, this is going to be it here. ForGG, he had a nice lead, and he didn't capitalize on it. He didn't keep applying pressure enough. He kind of chickened out after he got stormed a few times. And again, this is a case of us being able to see everything, but he should have known that not taking 2 Ghosts or not pressuring more, this was going to be very difficult.
Yeah, a little bit of a scrappy fight here at the end, but GG, Liquid HerO takes game number 1 and puts himself in a very good position now. He only needs 1 more map to advance onto the round of 8, so that we would have 2 Protoss from our first group here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Shocker.
Shocker.
You know, as much as I thought that hidden base was probably a bad idea, in the end, I guess it kind of makes sense too, because he was not in a position where he could take a 3rd base in front of his natural. He was being pressured, there was too much, he didn't have enough yet, so hiding it out on the map like this, you're going to be sure that it's going to go up unless he's scouted, but nobody's ever going to scout for it at this point in the game, except maybe the next time he plays a top tier, because he's already done it. And HerO was able to saturate that quite well. He really focused on it. Like, I was not paying very close attention to that hidden base, but when I looked, he took the gases there very, very quickly. He saturated the gases first. It was very important for him to take gas. He didn't really care about the minerals, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It was all about getting some more Colossus a little bit later on, getting a whole lot of Templars, and that's exactly what he did. The defense, it was good enough, man. He got up to 7, 8 Templars, and he never chased ForGG far out of his base, which is a mistake a lot of Protosses do. I remember playing ForGG actually in WCS and being in a good position, or so I thought, because I had Storm and he didn't have any Ghost. And then he just attacked me as Storm, and then I chased him out. Biggest mistake you can ever do against ForGG is this, because then he spread his army out, he stutter steps, and you end up slowly losing your entire army.
I'm really curious as to what ForGG thinks went wrong. He thinks went wrong in that game number 1, because he didn't watch the replay. He's just taken some time to think about all of this. But I am so desperately curious to think what happened for him. And, well, Habitation Station is going to be our map number 2. But this is a bit of a desperate situation here from ForGG. He's 1 game away from elimination. Mine and Sean's anticipation of him going a bit further is not looking too bright right now. But it was all on that 1 base. He had so much power behind that income that ForGG was not anticipating. So,
I have to say, these Oracles were pretty disappointing by HerO. Even though he won here, this is definitely not in the same fashion that we've seen him play versus Terran before. Even when he played Teja recently, he was able to do a ton of damage with just a few units early on, a Zealot, a Stalker, a Mothership Core, an Oracle. But now, this really did not do much. And you know why? Because he tried to play this differently than you're supposed to. He didn't get the Forge, which, when you go Oracle, is a must. Imagine if he had gotten the Forge. And then he made a cannon in each mineral line and counter-attacked with the Oracle. Which I guess, again, is easy for us to say as we see everything. But this is usually the standard way you will do this versus Terran.
Yeah. Well, with that now, we're going to get into game number 2 in just a second here. But it's a good point that you bring up the Oracles, because I was alluding to the fact during that cast that, you know, when I saw the Oracle and Heart of the Swarm coming along, I thought, wow, this is going to be great in the hands of someone like HerO. In the end of this game, he lost them a little bit badly there. But I think when people think Liquid HerO, they think back to watching his stream, like Apollo was talking about before, and watching his fantastic multitasking, always keeping his Phoenix live, having his warp prisms everywhere, dropping. But that wasn't really the case here. It was kind of just brute force once again here in game number 1. So we are just waiting now.
The only thing he dropped that previous game with his Oracles was the ball. By letting them die and not doing much with them. I guess he had a revelation, which was okay. By the way, he got the Colossus right on time to not die against that mass marine of
yeah, you're right.
here.
If he didn't have that 1 Colossus just then and he had to tackle about 30 Marines, good God, would that have been painful. Might have just been straight death. He had like, what, 2 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, 1 Sentry, not really a whole lot of Gateway units. But now we're going to get loaded up onto Habitation Station, a map that we didn't see in the previous series, as it did end up getting removed. So let's get right into this. HerO is 1 game away from advancing on to the round of 8 here at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. All right, spawning up to the top left as our Red Terran. He's currently 3 games down against his opponent. Can he do it? It is ForGG. And over on the right, we have our blue Protoss representing Liquid. It's HerO.
All right, Habitation Station, they removed this map the last time that they played, and now they are playing it. ForGG, actually, funnily enough, he places his depot where there could have been a proxy. So maybe a little bit wary here of the possibilities. You definitely do not want to go up against this and not spot it once again. And it's going to be interesting to see how they open, but most of all, I think how HerO takes on this map, just because it's such a different map than the other maps. Being close by air by default, a Stargate is going to be more likely, but then everybody's kind of ready for it, so do you go for Blink? It's not as good on this map offensively because you cannot really get in there easily and then get out. Then again, you know, you can actually blink from the goal base into the main of your opponent, but then again,
getting out, the best.
Yeah, getting out is very hard.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's going to be a tricky map to play on, and I'm sure both of these players have played it plenty of times.
Well, what are we going to see from here is the big question. He's going
Double
for double
gas. Yeah, very quick double gas.
Very, very quick. What are your
see
real
him?
options? Whoa, 3 in each, actually.
He could go for something like... what do you mean 3 in each?
He put 3... Did he put 3 in each already?
Yeah, like he did it very quickly, but
Super
the second
fast.
gas was not even finished. When you said that, I was like, can you predict the future?
Well,
or?
if he sends 3 in one, why would he send a different number in the other, I guess?
I guess. Maybe just 3 plus 2, maybe sometime in the other. Sending a pro... Oh, I think, okay, Stargates.
Yeah, that position, man. That position. And that Reaper's actually, unless it's very diligent about the scouting up to this northern position, is going to have a hard time spotting that. Reapers, I'm not a massive fan on using them to scout out the main base on this map. The one real use they have on Habitation Station is scouting out the southern side of the map, really, to spot some kind of proxy. But this one's a bit trickier.
This one's not in the south, that's for sure.
That's true.
A bit more to the north. He's gonna start a Stargate and go home, maybe, possibly after. No, actually, this might have met the Reaper if he sent the probe home.
Yeah, it may have done.
Spoiling what he's doing, so... Mothership Core started. Okay, ForGG, he's gonna get the perfect scout in the main of his opponent, supposedly, here. And does he realize what he's up against? Does he, like Rain before, realize there is a third pylon missing?
Exactly.
He's not scouting to the left-hand side.
And he didn't get behind the mineral line either.
Very often here, yeah, but he saw 2 of the pylons there. So it's...
But there could be another pylon
Yeah,
behind
I
the mineral
guess.
lines.
But usually you make your
Or
third
over there,
pylon
yeah.
on the top left-hand side, or like in that
No, you're
corner
right.
where there could be something or drop coming later on. Very quick eBay for ForGG. That's 4 upgrades, but possibly for very quick turrets as well. If he's able to realize what he's up against, he's going to be in a pretty good shape, I
Is he
think.
going to go with that? Oh, no, okay. He actually clicked up there once as he was passing the watchtower and then didn't go in the end and checks his gold base, which is a bit sad for...
Oh,
Da, 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 da. But the Oracle's almost finished.
yep.
So
Actually, he has time to start a turret immediately, and it might finish on time. If he places Marines there, he's going to be fine. That's exactly what he's going to do.
throws down a second pylon, but realistically, I don't think he's really going to need that. It's only a Reaper really tickling away at that. But he's actually, with the second Oracle, he does want to make sure that it's always powered at all times. The turret is about to finish and doesn't really find too much room to get in.
This Oracle wants to street fight with some Marines, but they're going to say no, not yet.
Fights an SCV instead.
Yeah, that's not a lot of damage. 4G was able to identify what he's up against, and he actually has his SCV on the natural of HerO, who's going for the gold, I think. He has no plan to go for his natural base. Oh, this is actually a Reaper on his natural.
Yeah,
Even better.
The thing is that he actually has to spot that the gold is being taken, because if he thinks that his opponent isn't taking a second base for so long, then he might play super excessive defensive.
This is such a weird game we're seeing here.
Yeah.
This is really only because it's on this map. The only map with a gold base in the current map pool. And being close by air really allows for these attempts to go for some kind of thing like this. And HerO, Mothership Core, and 3 Oracle. Does he go for that turret and kill it and then time warps and kill all the Marines?
And the Reaper sees the gold base straight away, so that's really good scouting.
But 3 Oracles, I think he's going to go for the fight against those Marines with some nice time warp. He's going to let the Mothership Core tank a little bit.
Certainly could. Oh, he actually goes forwards with the Mothership Core to actually bait that in during all of that. And he kills so many Marines that even one Oracle doesn't die. What a great move here by HerO, who behind this is taking the gold base anyway. But that did a lot of damage.
Yeah, he had to do something like this because he's on only one Stargate right now and 1 gate. And I think behind this, realizing he's killed all of the SCVs, he could go for something like a lot of gateways and having the gold. Imagine how good his economy is going to be.
Yeah.
If he goes for a follow-up attack with lots of gateways, this is going to be so hard for ForGG to hold. The army supply right now, 11 to 21. HerO's got a Void Ray, he's getting another one. I've never seen a game like this before in PvT.
And the Reaper died over that gold base as well. And this Void Ray is really causing him a lot of problems. This is such a great position that HerO is effectively claimed
saw the Widowmine.
in his opponent's base.
He could detect and kill it. Oh, he's going to blow up.
Well, that unfortunately didn't kill it in the end, but the Marines will help out during all of that. And now this leaves him still a little bit vulnerable. He has to be careful. Those 3 Oracles power out so much damage if they're left to their own devices. The turret will certainly help out there for a second, but behind this, we have a few gateways as well as that robo.
Yeah, and it's not a real gateway explosion. I was expecting something like 5 gateways being added and HerO just trying to finish it, but he saw there was Widow Mines, and he knows that ForGG will continuously make them now. So what he's doing is he's getting 2 gates just because, well, he has the gold after all. He's going to have to spend a lot of money. He's getting a Forge and a Robo, so he's playing... HerO behind is playing it fairly standard. We could be seeing something like either Colossus or going to charge loss, but I'm sure he's going to keep on making Void Rays because why not? He has the money anyway. And as long as HerO keeps on using his warping cycles to get units, he's going to have enough not to die to some kind of counter-attack with Medivacs here.
This is really hard for ForGG now. He's in such a bad spot. HerO has such good control over everything that's going on in this. Even the resources lost is absolutely catastrophic for ForGG right now. He's lost like at least 1,000 resources worth.
And you know, I really feel like this is another one of those builds that should have a disclaimer on it, like do not try this at home, because this could go very horribly if you tried it and you're not HerO.
Time Warp hunting down the Marines, going to kill off quite a few of those. In the end, this wasn't exactly the best of trades there for HerO.
And of turrets, actually it's funny, like he has like 2 turrets. ForGG kind of playing like tower defense here, but he has to against this many air units.
Yeah, it's not often you see too many Void Rays mixed into this army in this matchup nowadays, but HerO saw an opportunity and is certainly doing well with it. Look at this army that he's accrued, actually. That's pretty...
Yeah, I think he's going to go for the kill here in a second. There is a Widow Mine there. Going to do quite some damage. He has 2 bunkers, actually. ForGG needs to repair. Oh. He's reacting too slowly right now.
That charge upon these Void Rays brings those bunkers down so fast, and if he continues to warp in, that's going to be fantastic. The add-ons just finished on those barracks though at the natural, so he needs to get reinforcements as quickly as possible. But with the army supply that we're seeing here for him, he's got so many Marines also queued up. ForGG knows how much he needs units out right now, but it's probably not going to be enough as he pulls the SCVs. He knows he's in trouble.
And I love how HerO is doing this. He knows that ForGG does not have Steam Pack. He has no way to counter the Stalkers hit and run, basically, so he's going to keep on doing it. The Widow Mine reloading right now. I'm surprised. The Oracle should go definitely for some detection.
Vikings helping out quite a bit and zoning out those Void Rays here as he continues on, but these Stalker numbers are rising pretty rapidly. He throws down the Time Warp. There's no retreat out for these SCVs. They have to do or die right now against these Stalkers, but a lot of them are going down in the process. 28 workers have been killed so far. It's 45 workers to 20. So even if the recovery occurs here for ForGG, his income has suffered severe losses.
He's up against a gold base. That's the only reason HerO was able to get this much. And also ForGG, he made the add-ons too early. When he got attacked now, he was getting 4 add-ons at the time. He had 5 Marines queued on his main barracks that he has in his main, so those Vikings landed now, he was able to defend, but on the worker count he's so far behind that it's not gonna matter. Behind this HerO, he's getting a Twilight, he's getting a Robo, he's getting Stalkers 3x3. He's not gonna die anytime soon. And Steam Pack or Combat Shield did not even start yet this game. And we are at the 13th minute mark. He has Medivacs, he has Widow Mines, but no Steam Pack, no Combat Shield started. This is not how you're going to win using Bio against a Protoss player.
You know the funny thing about all of these engagements is that technically speaking, with the resources lost, ForGG has actually been pretty cost effective, but the gold base is making up the difference. The swing towards ForGG being cost effective, he has now lost less technically than HerO, but HerO has the economy behind this to fuel it and continue on, constricting ForGG to the best of his ability.
HerO's looking so scary right now with Justian. He's looking quite unstoppable in all of the games that he's played against ForGG. And ForGG is trying something that I think could be good with the Medivac drop here. Well, not in this base, at least. You have to be careful.
I mean, he could just start Phoenix now and really kind of shut down Medivac drops. He actually clumped up those. Ooh, and catches a few of them.
Yeah, 4 kills. Very decent here. Going to be able to get a sentry maybe in the main. Possibly the Warpism. He doesn't have Steam Pack. I forgot.
Yeah.
Without Steam Pack, not really possible. Actually, Steam Pack still did not start. Yeah. He started Combat Shield, but he doesn't even have the gas to start Steam Pack.
And how he's supposed to go up against somebody with charge lots, +2 weapons, Templar Archive stuff. No, it's just... dude, the ForGG Geddon has been postponed, Todd, okay? It's not going to happen. The second coming of HerO is nigh here against ForGG, and unfortunately, ForGG Geddon is not enough to deal with that.
Yeah, and very soon there's going to be +2 up for HerO. Charge has already finished. The army supply is pretty good for ForGG. It's 51. But without Steam Pack and Combat Shield, how good is this? Actually, he did get Combat Shield. He just finished.
Yeah,
but
so
no
that's
Steam
finished.
Pack.
Yeah,
does he realize that he's not even researching?
I mean,
it's
right 15 minutes into the game.
I think he does not realize.
He's got 1 Medivac. I think he feels as if he just can't get it. Like, going up against an opponent that's probably transitioning onto Colossi as well. I mean, he's not making any Medivacs. So, if he were to stim up, how would he heal? He has to come from Vikings.
Yeah, I guess.
This is
for sure now, like by now, Atean would have always pressed T and see that he didn't have Steam Pack. And HerO, this is so smart. Upon having +2 and charge, he knows that he has a lot of money still with the gold coming in, so he's gonna go for some Zealot harassments.
Yeah, from the heavens descend more Zealots here as the second coming of HerO throws them down. And now, unfortunately here for ForGG, this is a slow end to his tournament. Yeah. It's going to be so hard for him to recover. It takes a miracle.
ForGG is down to 19 SCVs. I don't think he ever got over 20 this game.
Yeah,
HerO is like, you shall not play a micro game against me. He was in a scary position in the first game, so it makes sense to try and basically tame him down. Like the entire game, the way he did, he had to do that because of the opener that HerO went for. He saw a lot of openers through it, and again, this is a situation where he snowballed out of control over time. Just like the first time that they played on Frost, he saw an opportunity, he went for it, he kept on doing damage throughout the entire game.
I mean, if a game snowballs out of proportion to the point where you're a Terran and you don't have stim at the 17-minute mark, you know
and you
something...
don't even want to get it.
Yeah, exactly. You know something bad's going on here. Storm will hit a lot of that bio. It doesn't even matter if that wasn't the most amazing Storm ever. It still did damage, and it continues to do so. GG, HerO advances on in stellar fashion. What a play.
Yeah, and two Protosses advancing out of this Group A. Can we say we're surprised? I cannot, because it was my prediction.
Well, good job, Todd. Good job. It wasn't for any reason other than Protoss not doing too badly right now, as ForGG unfortunately has now been eliminated. Miserations to him, but it was always going to be a tough group. It was a tough group for all of these players, aside from Rain, who decided to just cruise on through.
I think he should have won on Frost, to be honest.
Yeah,
there was a few moments where I really think he could have made most of the situation, and he was playing a little bit too shy, which is weird because usually when you see ForGG playing, since he's living in Europe, it's against foreigners, and I don't think he's ever been shy with a foreigner.
Oh no!
I don't know if he has like a way to
like,
not be shy against the foreigners, but he just attacks and he kills everyone.
Yeah,
he's done very well against even the best Protoss players out there. Like Naniwa, he's had some quite nice games with Naniwa in the past, but here against HerO, it just feels different. He's not able to make anything work.
It was a bit of a hard time there for ForGG, who unfortunately now is out of the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne. We know our first two players advancing on to the round of 8, which is Rain and HerO. Without further ado, guys, I really want to hear from that man advancing on to the round of 8, Mr. Liquid HerO.
Thank you, guys. Yes, with Liquid HerO, congratulations. Well done. Advancing on to the quarterfinals, so great result already from you. We'll talk about the games as well, but I also want to talk about your wrist because you seem to have had a little bit of a problem with the wrist. But first of all, let's talk about game 1. Did it surprise you that he didn't find that hidden third base for so long? In fact, I don't think he found it at all in that game.
첫 번째 게임에서 몰래 멀티를 했었는데 그걸 못 찾고 상대가 못 찾고 좀 헤맸던 거가 좀 어땠었는지.
저도 좀 긴장을 많이 해가지고 되게 게임이 안 풀려서 되게 불리하다고 생각해서 이거 아니면은 힘들 것 같아서 약간 도박수를 던졌어요.
Well, I was always nervous in those games, and I always thought I was behind. So I thought if I don't do this hidden expansion, I can't win. So I just did it, and it kind of worked well. Yeah,
it did work out very well. And then map 2, what was your mindset like before you started map 2? What were you thinking about in terms of the gold base? We've seen it taken early by Protoss before, but not quite as aggressively as you did that. What was your plan going into map 2?
이제 두 번째 맵에서도 이제 골드 그 확장을 빨리 가진 다음에 이제 엄청 공격적으로 플레이를 했는데 어떤 생각으로 그런 빌드를 준비했었는지.
그 네덜란드에 이렇게 저희 팀 그 숙소에 있으면서 유럽 레더를 많이 했는데 거기서 연습한 빌드고 그 지수 형이 좀 정찰을 빨리 안 오는 스타일이라서 한 번쯤 써야겠다고 생각했었어요.
Well, actually, I trained this build a lot when I was in the Team Liquid HQ, and it kind of worked pretty well in the ladder, in the EU ladder. So I thought because ForGG is not scouting very early on, so I thought it could work. So I tried it, and it Did.
Yeah, it absolutely did. We saw you during the in between the games, rubbing your wrists and rolling your hands. Are you okay, or are you struggling with anything right now?
이제 게임 도중에도 이제 팔 좀 아파하는 것 같았는데 괜찮은지.
요즘 들어서 좀 게임을 많이 하면은 손이 되게 아프더라고요. 그리고 또 긴장하면은 손이 되게 차가워지고 좀 되게 불편해서 그랬었어요.
Yeah, at the moment, my wrists feel very sore when I play a lot, and also when I get nervous, my hands get very cold, and it feels uncomfortable when I'm playing. So that's why.
Okay, I don't want to preempt anything, but are you thinking about just taking a little break just to make sure they're okay again, or are you okay to carry on?
그럼 그것 때문에 좀 휴식 시간은 필요한 건지 아니면 계속 볼 수 있을 것 같은지 이제 대회에서.
휴식은 뭐 중간중간에 그냥 쉬면서 병원이나 뭐 그런데 가보면 될 것 같고 딱히 뭐 이렇게 정해놓고 이렇게 푹 쉴 필요는 없을 것 같아요.
No, there's no need to have a long break or something like that. Just have little breaks in between and perhaps visit the hospital or something like that, but no long breaks, yeah.
Okay, great to hear. I'm glad to hear that. And very best of luck to you in the quarterfinals. And great to have you here at Intel Extreme Masters finally. Thank you, HerO. Okay, that is it from HerO, from the man himself. Let's find out what Apollo made of our final match of Group A.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and welcome once again, where we're going to have a look at map number 2 to kind of see what went wrong, which you should all know anyway, but we're going to go through it one more time, just to make sure if you did miss a bit of Game 2, to find out how it went downhill for ForGG. And I really thought that this game was going to be his opportunity to make the comeback, because it started off really well. As you can see on the screen right now, is the Reaper entered the main base, and immediately alarm bells are ringing. If you play Terran on ladder, on Habitation Station, when double gases are taken this early on, you're always expecting to see a Stargate usually, because it's so close distances between the two bases. He immediately thinks Stargate's coming, goes, checks his gold base, and then finds out his opponent's gold base and actually sees the Stargate. And from this position, he must be feeling great, because once you scout it and you already have the kind of thought process that this is happening anyway, the engineering bay and turrets were down. But to be completely safe against Oracle play, you need 3 turrets, not 2. And that was the biggest problem here. As you can see, there's a turret here, if we pause it for a second, which comes in a little bit too late. Because this needs to be ready to protect the barracks, or production facility, should I say, from an ongoing assault. What happens if there was 3 Oracles, Mothership Core Void Rays? Well, as we can see in this game, if we play it from this point, he's going to lose every single unit for nothing. And this is a massive blow. At only the 7-minute mark, losing 10, 12 Marines, going down to just 4 left over, you're in a terrible position here. 10 Marines down early on. And then from here, he's been slowed down with his production, SCVs aren't mining, and we can fast forward a little bit, because the big difference is that he went to take the gold base, and with the gold base, you're going to have a much higher income than compared to your opponent, who is now defending, is spending extra turrets, winner mines defensively. He went for a factory and starport. He's meant to be on the other side of the map doing damage to HerO, but he's actually sat back very defensively. And HerO plays it smart, picking off the winner mines, picking off units wherever he can, trading without losing anything. If you're able to trade without losing anything and keeping your opponent's army down low, you can follow up with a gateway attack. From the gateway attack, this is where we just see the game end, pretty much. Look at the worker count, 40 to 40. Pause it 1 second. It's already 400-ish minerals, 300 minerals in favor of HerO every minute that goes by because of the gold base, despite being on the same workers. Now, if we look at this, he loses half his worker supply to defend this. As you can see, he doesn't have combat shields, he doesn't have stim, he's been harassed, he doesn't have the right army composition, and he drops down to 20 workers to 45. From this position, any top-level Protoss is not going to let the game slip. And as we saw, neither did HerO. So thank you for having a look at this game. I hope you understand a little bit more about it if you didn't already. And now, over to Red Eye.
Thank you very much, Apollo. We do have some more drawings for you to see. The Valentine's cards have kept rolling in. We thank you very much for joining us on Valentine's Day here at the Intel Extreme Masters. And we also thank all of you for your submissions. We'll show the best ones in just a moment. I do want to explain that we've now finished in Group A, of course. We will do a wrap-up of that when we come back from the break. But we then move on to Group B today, and we'll have all 5 matches from that, plus a very special interview coming up with one and only the not washed up interviewer, Mr. Carmack. Let's check out some of your Valentine's cards now. We do have a very appropriate one on screen right now, if we can put this one up. This one features HerO and Rain, and also MC, and a very interesting drawing of me. I'm not quite sure what's going on down there. That's kind of worrying, but okay. We thank you, Arta, for your submission. That's the second one he's got in today. We also have a very appropriate one for HerO, who has just gone through to the quarterfinal, which looks like this one. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love HerO, but ForGG sure really doesn't like him at all. I think you need to work on the poetry, but the imagery is really nice. I like that one. That's from Gemini 19. And we have one more, which is also from Brett Newton. He's already sent one in, but he's also done us another one, which is this, which is I Want to Swarm You with Kisses. That one's for everyone. Look at that. That's kind, isn't it? How lovely. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Dr. Red Eye's Love Hour on Intel Extreme Masters. That's right, it's Valentine's Day, which means you should be very nice to everyone. We are going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we have a very special interview from Carmack, and you do not want to miss what's coming next.